Hello, Corey here coming in to do the energy update for December the 24th into the end of the season. So as we're moving into the end of the month. So as we're moving through to this last week, we have a lot of action and a lot of inaction. So today the moon is actually in a void state. And so we are feeling something that is unfolding, something that is happening, and I'm seeing some sort of energetic movement. Now, I've been saying this for months or for, I want to say the past year, that I've been feeling the influence and the feeling of the ancients, the ancient angels, the ancient of the wise ones, like something ancient really truly entering and becoming a powerful force. Now, um, my weekend energy update, which and the winter solstice, I'm not even going to go back to there because there's no going backwards. There's no going back to that time. It's now done. We're moved beyond that. We're moved past that. But but some of the things that came up are the energy that is going to be with us all the way through until I don't know, until like mid-January. Like we're seeing some of this movement of energy that is taking us through until the mid-January. So it can feel slow, it can feel very blah. You're going to be feeling the temptations of the past, right? There's so many aspects of this that bring about um, good times, bad times. It brings in challenges, right? So I don't want to say bad. I don't like that word when you're communicating through this because it's about energy is simply energy. Is our choices, our perspective that influence our choices and the choices that we make and our own actions and reactions is the thing that creates the emotional response or how we respond to the world. But it's all a part of our physical uh, journey through life. And so we are very much in our humanness. We're feeling humanness, but I'm also seeing this powerful influence of the divine expression. And so I'm feeling the presence of the ancients and the ancient ones and this sense of returning to. Now there is some corruption in this energy, and I can feel the corruption. I can feel the kind of manipulation. And so if you have been experiencing the manipulation of this energy in one way or the other, know that it's being given a face, being given an identity, and it's all being transferred from energy into visible. So it's becoming visible. So it's something that is triggering a response in people. People are showing up as sinister. People are wanting to kind of push back or push people out. There's a weirdness. Let's put it this way. There's a real freaking weirdness in this energy, and it is weird. It is odd. It brings out the odd and the weird and the mischievous and the mysterious in people. It has the I want to say this without sounding negative because the way it is a negative influence though. It has a level of the darkness, but it's a darkness in the energy, and I feel like it's because the moon has a void, because there's some sort of void in the moon or some sort of space of where we're in between. We're kind of in a nowhere land. It's like things are kind of in a nowhere. Things are suspended in air, right? We don't know. So there is this weird, odd energy that is coming in and around us. And I can feel it today. I could feel it over the past few days. I have heard it in people's voices. I've seen it appear. I've seen it in people's energies. When I'm out and about, there is this almost like I want everything. I want things to myself. I want this. It's almost like a selfishness. And I'm like, and it's not that whole, oh, I got to make me important, but there's a weirdness and I don't know how to put it without sounding, and I don't want it to be an offensive conversation. So I'm asking them to bring this through in a way that makes it kind of sound relatable. So there is that trickster energy, but it is the motives. So being aware of the motives that even your own thoughts can have, or the motives of other people. And so it's so easy to get entangled into our own relationship with our emotions, and that your emotions can so easily be manipulated and to be fooled, be kind of gaslit into stepping into being someone you're not, or doing something you don't want to do, or that sense of being um, kind of manifesting back into your life people and things you don't want. Be aware of manifesting back into your life people and things you don't want. The conversations, the language, the ability for someone, you know how people crave to just have niceness, just for everybody to be nice. We have that desperation. We have that desire right now because we have been deprived and depleted of a lot of the things that were once a part of the superficial, the imitation of relationships. And it was sold as healthy, and it was sold as just accepted. It was sold just to have people or things in our lives we could just tolerate or we could just do. And this energy is saying we can't just tolerate anymore, and we just can't put up with, or I just can't do this no more. This just doesn't work for me no more. This just doesn't make sense anymore. And but you're seeing the sense of that sense of where people say, you will sometimes say like, oh well, i've um I've just never had this and I want this, um or this, I want it all to myself. So there's a greed, there's a self-centeredness, and it's energy, and it's only energy. But when it comes into our emotions and it taps into a sense of a lack of, or a sense of triggering something inside of us that activates our sense of our ability to feel denied, feel neglected, to feel not accepted, that it is, or to feel um, like I want everything to be about me, whatever that may be. But the energy is plugging into that. And it does have this weird, suspicious energy to it. And so it's okay to question the motives and the behavior of some of the energy, the way that it is affecting us, and the way that we're feeling it, and the way that we're a part of it. And it's so easy to get trapped in that. It's so easy to become more of that, so easy to become a part of that. I'm like, does that work? Does that make you feel good? Does that feel good? It's like, I don't know. I don't think that's, or I don't feel this. And so it's easy for us to think anything into creation. So be very aware of what we're thinking into creation in these coming days, even following up into that new year. What should be like our new year celebration, or when the year flips, we're not really feeling the effects of that until about the middle of January. Like, it is not happening at the beginning. It feels like it has to come at the end, well, more like the 20th. It has to come at the end of the Capricorn season. So when we move out of Capricorn and we actually move into the Aquarius energy, that's when it feels more like our new year will kind of start to take effect. It's when we start to see kind of the light of day. Until then, we got a lot of shadiness that's moving about and moving around in this energy. So there's a lot of like behind the door kind of secret motives, agendas. There's often an agenda behind some of that, of what people are trying to manifest or trying to make happen. So there's secret deals, like secret conversations, and it's just like sometimes it's like we can't take things at at face value. Being that energy of when people are nice to your face, but they're not really nice. That's possible. Not saying it's happening everywhere, but that energy is like, it's like we're seeing the return of something from a past. You may see, feel, sense that sense of nostalgia and wanting to bring the past back in. So that nostalgic energy is like, oh, but you know, the once upon a time, and this is the way it was. And it's like, don't fall into or fall for that imitation that we should get back to the way things were, because it's not about getting back to the way things were, because the way things were not always the best or the greatest or the healthiest either. It is about evolving through. And so it is like this evolving energy that is like this revolving door and just says you can go in and you can go out, but it's like getting out through one side, like walking in through that revolving door, but getting off and getting out when you feel that fresh air. Like when you know you're outside, get out, stop going around inside of that and going back in. So it's not about going back into something, it's not about going back into the past. It's about going forward. It's about getting out and moving through. So this energy is telling us that that this is our time to go out through that door. Not about going back, but to go through. And so we do have this portal energy, and I'm just like, I can feel this. I can feel this angelic pull. I can feel the angels. I can feel the celestial beings and this celestial energy and this higher vibrating energy. And I know this myself because I've been feeling the temptation to kind of walk away from it all, give it all up, but they just kind of go back to the way things were. But then on the other aspect of that, I can feel the elevation. I can feel how much life has been elevated, how much life has been growing, how much life has changed, how much life has been um, like, even though we go through loss and we go through pain, we go through hurts, we go through the challenges, but that usually means we're walking the right way. But really truly moving into that ability to feel like we are fully alive and to feel like we're living and that we become a part of our living expression and expressing that self that is here to feel alive. And so I want to say it kind of feels as if we are moving out of that that kind of um, mob mentality. Like we're leaving behind the mob mentality. We're leaving behind that old kind of really regurgitated energy. It's just something that is making a shift. And so, but the comeback is actually in that of the divine expression of light. And so bringing in the divine expression of light, and when we feel the power of light coming in, it also it disrupts and disturbs the energy vampires. It disrupts and disturbs our own sinister energy. And if you haven't resolved or you haven't discovered that you have a sinister energy in you, a big part of my work and a big part of my work is about me sharing my experience of healing. And one of those journeys that I took, and I remember sharing a picture of this in one of my videos a couple years ago, even maybe a year ago. And it was me showing that this when the sinister revealed itself to me inside, it realized the things that we do to kind of get our own way, right? To get things, to get what we want, or to kind of talk our way through something, or to feel like we are resolving something, or we're kind of getting to a happiness, but it's coming at a cost. And so when I could see a face of sinister, and that we all have that little inner monster energy, we all have that little sinister self. And once I found it, it literally said, now that you found me, I now have to leave because I can no longer fool you. And it's not about being able to fool other people, it's how we can fool and trick ourselves into repeating patterns by doing things that we know goes against our highest self and our highest expression. The things that keep bringing us back to doing the things that cause us more self-harm, more emotional pain, more of those things. And a part of that is about the secret language, the secret codes of how we can trigger our own emotions. Now, and then we get so frustrated, so upset when other people do it. But why is it so accepting when you do it to yourself? Why is it so easy to accept that in yourself? And so the light is shining a light and it's bringing in this powerful, forceful energy that is revealing that about self. And so the same thing comes into about trust. It's like, oh, well, I don't trust anyone. Well, maybe there's an area in your life of when you did something that you couldn't have been trusted, and you did something that went against your moral compass, or you let your moral compass you let that level of integrity or moral obligations and knowing kind of dip down, be pushed down, and you did something because you wanted to feed your inner monster or to feed that little sinister energy. And now it's being revealed to you. And it's being revealed not so that you can shame or beat yourself up, it's being revealed so that you can see a deeper truth, so that you can find out the deeper truth. And so we're seeing it on a big scale, but we're feeling it on a micro. We're feeling it within ourselves. And we're also seeing it reveal itself through the influence of people in life and around life. And so you can see that energy. And so it's always an interesting dynamic. The why and the motive behind why people do those things is often comes with a sense of lack of, a fear story, a false evidence appearing real story. There's something deeper that is there. And when we can heal and resolve our deeper longings, that deeper knowing, that deeper wants, and we can see where we have been pushing ourselves into creating a future for our shadow, creating a future for all that is of everything that we were supposed to drop off, we're supposed to leave behind. And so you could see it, you can feel it, you may not be able to label it. And I think that's the big thing, is recognizing that it's not so easy to be able to label this. It's not so easy to be able to see this as energy. It reveals itself as a hurt, as a sense of feeling sad or feeling bad, it's the inability to be able to recognize energy as communication. And it's not that we can, it's not something that's been really taught and trained, right? It's a knowing that this is what's going on. And it's because the reflection coming back is that of light. There's a lot to be learned and a lot to be excuse me, I got hiccups with that. There's a lot to be learned and a lot to be discovered. And there's a lot to kind of really truly be self-aware of. I don't want to say be aware of, because that sounds, like I said, I don't want to bring in a sense of fear into the conversation, because it's not that. It's about self-awareness. It's about awareness of the self that is showing up. It's about the awareness of the version of the people that are showing up in your life. It's awareness about the little key elements and the key words in messages that has that ability to be manipulative, or the ability to get you to kind of be swayed or persuade into being able to do something, or to change your mind, or to go against. And so this energy is moving, and it's on the move. And we're going to feel it long beyond Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It is moving through, like I said, until we are out of this Capricorn season. But we're going to have to, there seems to be in this void a lot of quietness, so there's a lot of underground or silent things. There's things in the works, and there's going to be this kind of explosion of energy, or an explosion of something unfolding that's coming up. But it's in the new year. It's after I'm really feeling after. But if anyone remembers, I don't know how far back your memory goes, or if this triggers a memory, but remembering the tsunami that hit around Christmas time. And I don't know what year that was, but it feels like I feel like it was that 20 years, 16 years, like somewhere around there. I don't know if it was quite 20 years, but it's been a long time. But it was the big tsunami that hit. And that big tsunami was catastrophic and it had a big impact. And I just remember watching it, and we're so helpless. And we're helpless to that kind of energy. So there is going to be the unfolding, which could be between now and the new year, that has that catastrophic, that could be that weather pattern that we're helpless to, that is opening up, and it opens our eyes. But same thing, we never know the real truth. We get bits and pieces of narrative and stories, and we get what people experience and who's involved. But the real truth of what we know is that it is dangerous, it is powerful, it causes harm, it causes hurt. Those things are true. All the rest, there is just so, that's why they create documentaries, right? About this truth and that truth. And then we have to come together and we have to find the deeper truths, that we are fragile, and that we live on a fragile earth, and that we are just simply humans, and we're all here to do the best and live the best that we can, and that's the best that we can do. And if we are to live in our todays, that sense of living with a sense of renewed hope, a sense of enthusiasm, and wanting to seek out the light and to live in the optimal of our healthiest, without being manipulated, without having others kind of create a dynamic that we feel like we have to exist in that story or fall victim into that story, but to see our real truth. Well, now that same catastrophic energy I am feeling again. And what that means and what that looks like, I don't know. But it's not the explosion of energy I'm seeing in the new year. It's something that I'm existing and feeling and picking up right now. So it's like I feel it in the coming days or the coming weeks. Like it's just something that feels like it has that same power, weather-wise, pattern-wise, something that is out of our control. And then there's the areas that are our control. So macro to micro, what is in our control? How can we stay in our healthiest state of being? How do we move through our own energy and into our own truth? How do we recognize this within ourselves? And so when we look at our lives, when we look at where we're traveling and where we're going, it really truly is about the power of recognizing there's not just one truth, there's many truths, there's many sides. But when we can recognize the sinister and we can recognize the darkness, so people always say, well, when I'm healing, I want to see all the good. And it's like, but if you can't see your own darkness, if you can't see your own sinister, you won't see it coming in another. You won't see it trying to manipulate you. You won't see it in trying to make you feel guilty and trying to make you feel bad. You can't see it in you. You can't see it in another if you can't see it in yourself. The power, the powerful potential that we have to be able to influence another is something that needs to be regarded with the highest level of respect and the highest sense of dignity for other people. And that is where our moral compass has to be going in all of the right direction. That sense of the powerful spiritual authority, that sense of higher expression of self, our connection to a greater consciousness, a greater knowing, and not just one that is connected and tied to our unconscious patterns, to our subconscious teachings, knowing that we have been taught, the things that we have learned, somebody else's beliefs and somebody else's values, all of those things. It is about us being in tune, in touch with our deepest truth to recognize something. So when I'll say, I just seen that, I just heard that, and then somebody else would say to me, oh, you're being silly, you're being dramatic, you're being, you're overreacting. I'm like, no, I'm not. I know what I just heard. I know what I just seen. I know what someone is trying to get me to to do or trying to, I'm like, I see that. It's obvious. And it's so obvious because it doesn't look, it's not about what my mind thinks or what my belief thinks. It's about how it appears and how it comes in and how it looks. And the difference between imitation and true light, there is no comparison. And when you have met true light, when you have met in and been through the divine highest expression of of God, source, creator, sun, moon, stars, rocks, I don't care. But when you have been moved by that kind of energy, when you've had near death experience, when you have bared witness to those kind of places and that kind of energy, you can see the lower frequency, you can feel it, you can sense it, the difference between that world and this world and those beings and these beings, there's a drastic difference. But the same expression, the same love, the same power, we have that. It exists. But recognizing how it is so easy to be disempowered or to be fooled or tricked into something that does not align to your highest good or to your truth or to what brings you excitement, what brings you a sense of feeling like you're feeling a sense of joy. It is so easy for someone else to dampen that joy, to take that away. It's easy for you to do it to yourself. When you can easily dampen your own flame and put out your own spark, your own lose your own sense of worth and inspiration, that exists in you. And it's often because we have believed something to be true for too long. And so it is the thing that has been evolving, the thing that has been growing, is our ability to be able to tap in, tune in, to be able to recognize this, where our beliefs around ourself and our self-esteem has really truly come from, what has been cultivating our constant relationship with being able to travel and walk the same path and to be able to keep moving through into that outdated or that now expired energy or imitation, right? Imitation love, passing self off as love is not love. So when we look at things when we're radically become into this journey of honesty with ourselves and with recognizing all these truths, is that we can see things differently. We can see what we're about to allow ourselves to do, how we are influenced and how we are impacted. So all of this is in this energy, all of this is speaking to us, and all this is coming because we do have the powerful influence of the divine expression, the angels, the ancient angels, and these are powerful beings. This is not your fluffy this is not the fluffy little imagery of what we create, in our mind's ability to create something that may just appear as also gentle, also sweet. No, this is not gentle. This is not sweet. Love is powerful. And love does not try to manipulate. Love comes with a radical honesty and a radical ability to be able to plant our feet in to the into the temptations, but not to be tempted to swayed away from that which we know to be our deepest truth. And so our ability to be able to know our deepest truth, to be loyal to something that is greater than our longing to satisfy our our desperate desires, our so-called unmet needs. It's like the unmet need of your little inner child is not what your adult needs. That unmet family dynamic is not to be fulfilled by trying to relive and reenact and rebuild and recultivate what was missing from there, because we're seeing it from the perspective of still through the eyes of who we once were. But who can we be over here? I don't have to reenact. I don't have to recreate. I don't have to do any of those things. I simply get to be in this energy and be true to this energy within myself, and to not to tell myself enough lies that it creates the ability to feel bad, to feel sad, to feel disappointed, to feel like I'm being not loved, neglected, ignored. Whereas when you can find, right, if you're really truly doing the work, you find that there's, yes, I may feel sad, I may feel alone, I may feel lonely, but I'm not alone. I may feel like I'm not being loved, but I am loved. I have a lot of love around me. So finding those truths that anchors us into the now and into the possibility of what's here to move us and to move us forward, those are going to be the important truths that are needed, so that we don't self-manipulate ourselves into going backwards and falling into the trap of holding on to something that is now outdated and that no longer aligns. And so there is this new charge, this new move, this new energy that's moving us. But it's slow moving. It doesn't have a need to rush, because it just knows I don't have to rush. I don't have to rush. No one can take this away from me. Nobody can take this love away from me. Nobody can take this joy. Nobody can take this power. Nobody can take this. This is mine. And that I can just move slowly through this, and I will always show up at the right door in the right time. I'll always show up in the right place at the right time. I don't have to trick and fool myself into doing something. I don't have to allow myself to be tricked and fooled and to just accept that energy that's coming from somewhere else. And it is about being able to align to that new sense of truth and that new sense of understanding. So I believe there's just so much more to be said about this, that I believe January's message will include more of it. But as we move through Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and even in through the next few days until, I want to say, the 28th, 29th, you can feel the polarities. And so you may be feeling the polarities of energy, but know them as this: it is the polarities, but it's the polarities that charges the batteries, that charges up. But what is it that really truly, what charges us the most? What makes us feel alive the most? What is the thing that makes us feel the most passionate, the most full of life, the most satisfied, without feeding ourselves on the junk of the past? What is the things that can sustain us? What is the things that can take us the long haul? What is the things that stop giving us temporary satisfaction and give us long-term sense of satisfaction, completion, determination, loyalty? Those are the things that we are here to anchor us. Those are the things that are here in this light, and they are the things that are going to move us and shift us as we feel and exist in the world that provide to us things that are out of our control. But there is things that are in our control, and it's in our control to use discernment in what we choose to allow, or what we choose to let ourselves be caught in, or what we choose to keep spinning our wheels in, so that we continue to get stuck in the mud. If we go in one door, we got to go out the other, right? It's not about going back into the past. We're going forward, we're moving forward. And so how have I evolved? How have I grown? How have I changed? And how have I moved beyond those old desires and those old wants? And am I still being propelled by my ability to be able to activate my own guilt, my own shame? And is it a disempowering move, or is this empowering me? So am I here to be empowered by my fears, or am I here to be empowered by the faith of this beautiful light, and that is here to inspire me to keep moving forward? I send you so much love. Have a beautiful Christmas. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Send you much love, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.